Hey Washington Fish Questers, Blake here. Figured I'd pop in to narrate a bit about this episode. So I got this footage on the opening day of crabbing season 2023, so it means it was early July. I'm dropping this pot to 70 feet, and which I often won't put a camera in because after about 50 feet in the summer, usually I can't get good footage because there's just too much green in the water. However, this time I actually put two cameras in for the first time ever, and I figured out a way to screen out the green. Now this is also an epilepsy warning because you'll see that my footage is kind of flashy, although the color looks great compared to what it usually is for my underwater footage. But I just can't seem to render out those flashes. Look at those dogfish. You can see the gray and white. They look just like a dogfish usually would. Now this next scene here, when I was editing, I jumped out of my seat. I couldn't believe it. A bluntnose sixgill, 70 feet of water in Hood Canal in the middle of the summer. Now they'll vertically migrate up in the dark, and that's when folks out diving out of Seattle will dive down to them. You know, they'll be up at like 60 feet when it's, like midnight or something. But this was probably taken at like 2 p.m. Since you can't legally target six-gill sharks in Washington state, this is my one chance to drop some fish facts on you. Now, I've seen variations on how big they get, 18 to 20 feet maximum, but more of an average of 10 to 14. Females are a little bigger than the males. They are an incredibly successful species, basically worldwide. They're super common. That's because they can go down to 8,000 feet into the deep sea, which is basically like a sanctuary of stability. And then they'll rise up to opportunistically feed, but retreating back down, they're kind of like the raccoons. Maybe that's a bad comparison to the ocean. They basically, they'll pop up if there's a reason to, but, as long as they remain there in the deep ocean, they're going to be pretty unchanged for eons to come, I think. Sixgills are so successful, their family tree is pretty small. So the classification that they're in, there's two families under it. One is the sixgills and the sevengills. There's 3 species of sixgill sharks, and the bluntnose is by far and away the most common. And then they're also related, another family, is the frilled sharks. So you've probably seen the footage of a frilled shark coming up into the shallows to die in a Japanese underwater park. And that's, if you haven't seen it, it's real cool footage. Just look up frilled shark. But a very, very ancient order of sharks. Notice there's no dogfish swimming around anymore, so apparently a sixgill will eat a dogfish. You can really see why they're called the blunt nose. They, the way they just suck up stuff from the ground. Like I think something just got sucked up in that last piece of footage there that it ate. Almost sucked up a crab there. If the eyes of the sixgill look a little eerie to you, almost human, it's because unlike most sharks, they lack that protective membrane that goes over the eyes. When they eat, they kind of use their eyes like us. They kind of, especially when we're eating a lot, they squint, roll them into the back of their heads. There she goes, back to the briny depths.